welcome to another episode of Jacob's House of Rock. And today, I've got an unboxing for you guys. Oh, a nice big unboxing as well. Within this package, we should have a brand spanking new 2020 Epiphone Special P-90 edition in Sparkling Burgandy red. So here we go, we got the box, got Epiphone, a part of the Gibson family, blah blah blah. Got all of stuff, and yeah, let's get right into it, because the box is really not that important. Got my little scalpely knife here, I'll just slice it and dice. Now, the reason I got this guitar is because I am a super fan of Black Sabbath, in particular Tony Iommi and his guitar playing. And for those of you who know, he played a SG Special predominantly throughout the 70s. His, they called it the monkey guitar, because it had a little violin playing monkey sticker on it for whatever reason. Now, that guitar was somewhat modified by John Birch, a luthier at the time who helped out with a lot of Tony Iommi stuff back then. And funny thing is, in this box here, I've actually got some new John Birch pickups that I will be unboxing and doing a review of and all that sort of stuff in the near future, and they'll probably be going into this guitar. But that is for another video. Today we're just going to be looking at this guitar stock and how it performs and is out of the box. I'm a little bit anxious because I have heard rumors and stuff that some of these were Epiphones, they're not set up very well, or the fretwork isn't perfect, and that is the biggest issue for me. So I really need this guitar to play perfectly, because everything else, all the electronics, all the hardware, I don't even care about the finish or anything like that. I just want the guitar's fretwork to be set up well, to be flat. Okay. In here we got it all set up like this, lots of bubble wrap, which is good to help protect this thing because it didn't have any external casing. I can already feel the headstock here, so I'm really excited to see this new headstock because they changed the design of the Epiphone headstock, finally. It's not a popular headstock by any means, so it'll be interesting to see this newer headstock. I got this from Music Corner, by the way. They're an Australian distributor of these sort of guitars, a guitar store. Oh, got this sort of thing that'll protect it. That's good. I can get rid of that now. And yeah, they were very good. They sent this out really quickly, which is great. So they had some in stock. More bubble wrap. Oh, and there she is. Okay. Now, a little Allen key. That's good. They gave us a little Allen key here. Now, I did actually really want one of these in a transparent finish, so not like fully transparent, like a cherry red finish that you could see the wood grain. However, this was the only one of this kind that really had, that really appealed to me. The rest of the guitar, they have a couple of other P-90 guitars in a similar line of recent guitars. Oh, we also get a bunch of little stuff in here. Graphtec nut here, so a little ad for that, which is interesting because I'm actually planning on modifying the nut in this thing and turning it into a zero fretted nut, so that'll be interesting. So that doesn't really matter to me. And oh, a guaranteed Epiphone genuine thing and a bunch of stuff. Well, I think this is the Invoice. Yeah, Invoice. Alright, so we'll look at the stuff in the box in a sec. There is a little Allen key in there and some other interesting things. But let's look at the guitar first. Like I was saying, I did want it in a different finish, but this was the closest finish they had to that in this specific model. They have some with different pick guards and different bridge arrangements, and some with like a worn lacquer, or like a really thin coat of lacquer that you can still feel the wood grain. And you know, I'm down with that, but I really wanted one with the kind of bridge that this one has, like a really faithful 60s, you know, like a Gibson, Gibson, jeez, I can't talk, Gibson SG Special. Oh, and there she is. There's our guitar. Okay, you can see that, guys. You can see that there. You can see it's reflecting like a mirror, so it's nicely polished up. Let's take a look. Got our P-90s. I wonder what these will sound like. Like I said, I'm planning on replacing these, but I don't know. Like, if they're good, I might not even replace them, or I might, like, put them in a different guitar or whatnot, or something like that. Like, you know, I won't let these pickups go to waste or anything like that, but stay tuned for the unboxing of those John Birch pickups again. They're Simplex 2 and something Plux 2. I don't know, they're kind of like P-90s, but the neck pickup has like 9 pole pieces, so you'll see all that in a future episode. So we have this sort of wraparound bridge, very simple design. This one, instead of even being smooth, it has the little jutting bits to help intonate it, which is good. I'm not keeping this bridge, by the way. I actually have already ordered one that's will fit in this, and it's like a Tune-o-matic. Not a Tune-o-matic. It does have like those Tune-o-matic functions where you can adjust the intonation, but it's also a single wraparound bridge. So that's what the back of it there looks like. Really nice finish on this thing. It actually looks a lot nicer in person than it does in the videos that I've seen and the stuff like that. It just looks, yeah, it looks kind of like glamorous, this color. I really like that. Got our nice classic SG shape. Got these sort of cutouts here. This looks a little bit weird here, how there's like they cut out the curves here. Let me just kind of show you guys. They cut out the curves here, but then there's like this little jutting out part here, and then on this one, like this is all nice, and then here I feel like they could have continued that curve a bit longer, because here it's kind of goes a little awkwardly into this little bump. Very minor thing, but you know, I'm doing my little review of this, so might as well, you know, let you guys know. Frets feel pretty good. Nothing like jutting out to me. Let's see how it Okay, that's good. Very promising. I don't seem to be finding any fret buzz. Yeah, that's good. That was my main concern with this thing. If there was any issues with the frets buzzing. And yeah, it seems to be doing pretty fine, so that is a big bonus. I love that. So then we got our Raftec nut, or whatever it's called, the self-lubricating nut there. Typical Epiphone little truss rod cover there. I'm actually thinking of replacing this Epiphone truss rod cover with a Hell Guitars truss rod cover. I've done a couple of videos on those ones. They make them out of solid brass with really nice, fancy enamel elaborate designs. Yeah, this one looks a bit plain. Now, yeah, I don't really mind that, but you know, I like to go the extra mile with these things if I can. But here's the new headstock. So gone are the days where the Epiphone guitars had this really weird sort of headstock where it kind of feels like they just clipped the corners of a regular Gibson headstock, and they actually have added this sort of more classic Gibson-like headstock, and it looks a lot nicer. I love that it's still got the Epiphone logo there, because they do make good stuff, so I don't want to hide that it's an Epiphone. But now it's got this sort of shape, so that's going to make a lot of people happy. That's a big selling point of this guitar here. The headstock still, I kind of prefer the Gibson shape, because the Epiphone, for whatever reason, it widens quite a bit around here. Like, the Gibson ones tend to sort of go in a little bit more, and have more width at the top, whereas this one kind of widens out this way. Very, you know, it's a minor thing, and you don't, if you're not really like looking for it, it's not gonna be that big of an issue, but it is a difference to bear in mind. Is it worth like an extra $1,000 or so to get an actual Gibson, just to get, you know, the slight... Actually, these Gibson special ones with the P-90 pickups I found that they cost even more than that, but just to get any old Gibson, you'd probably have to put in at least an extra $1,000, at least in Australian currency. But you know, I'm really liking this new headstock. It's also got a slightly pearlescent logo. This one also has the gloss paintwork over the headstock here as well, so it's got a black gloss covering. Some of the other ones in this line have a matte covering, the ones that actually have the worn finish. I do like this gloss one quite a bit more than what I've seen of those ones, though you know, the finish on those ones did look nice. I did like that you could see the wood grain through it and stuff like that, but just holding this in hand, I'm glad I did pick this one. I'm not sure what wood they use for the fretboard here. I know it's not rosewood. It's one of those other alternatives. It's not rosacer, which is that treated maple. It's some other kind of wood. It looks pretty close to rosewood. It looks like a slightly lighter rosewood, but it does look a bit dry. It just might be, again, the color of the wood, since it's a bit lighter. It just might be a trick of the eye. But in all the videos that I've seen people reviewing these, I look at the fretboard, I'm like, that looks a little dry. But yeah. Playability wise, the fretboard does feel really nice. It's got medium jumbo frets and the piece de resistance, which is the actual P-90 pickups in this thing, which I really am curious what these ones are like. I'm curious if these are Alnico pickups or if these are, you know, the cheaper ceramic ones. Not that ceramic pickups are necessarily always bad, but, you know, if you're keeping this, you know, as faithful as possible to an actual Gibson, Alnico pickups would go a long way, I think. Regardless, we'll see how these play in a second. Also, got Clouson tuners. So these are those sort of vintage style tuners. And they should say, yep, they say Epiphone Deluxe. So Epiphone Deluxe Clouson tuners. Very, very small looking tuners. I'm not really sure how they stack up. Hopefully they'll be good. I'm probably going to replace these, if I'm entirely honest, with locking tuners. I do actually have some on hand as well. I got these locking tuners, these Inho tuners, sorry I can't talk. They're made in Korea. They're based on the Wilkinson tuners, I think. I'll probably be replacing that into this one because I like locking tuners. But yeah, they look nice. That's all I can really say about these so far, because I haven't tuned it yet because it came pretty much in tune. And we got all our little tone knobs and stuff like that. Now I'm curious because somewhere I did hear that these ones were hand wired. Somewhere I think I had that they are Cts Pots. I don't know if I believe that or not, but what we could do real quick is I could unscrew this and we could take a look-see inside here, you know? Alright, last screw. So, remove that. And there are our potentiometers. Oh my god, they do say CTS. These say CTS Pots. So, yeah, that's something. And we got our the connections from our pickups I can see here, and they're wrapped with what would you call it, the metal sort of mesh. Let me actually show you guys, just so you can see. CTS Pots. That's really cool. They're expensive potentiometers, so that's pretty good. No shielding in there, which is probably something that I will end up doing. You do need this to be shielded. This is shielded, but the inside of this isn't. These single coils here, they can get kind of hummy. I haven't really had a problem with that, but that's something that definitely can happen. All in all, seems like fairly standard stuff in here, but it is hand wired, which is all good because some of the weird stuff that Gibson has been doing have been going away from hand wired stuff. Not that I really have any complaints about either or. That's just something that seems to make people happy, so that's a good thing. So yeah, looking pretty nice. I'm actually really excited to test this thing out for sound. So I'm just going to put the back cover back on, and then we're going to test this thing out, see if it sounds any good. Alright guys, so I just plugged it in. Haven't played a single note on this thing yet. Oh, okay, that's the first note. Let's hear what she sounds like. All tuned up to standard. It was pretty much in standard tuning on arrival, so just needed a slight tighten, and here we go. bridge pickup. Okay. Try some of these volumes. Yeah, it cleans up nice with the volume there. Sound you're going to be hearing isn't going to be the tightest and super greatest sound because I'm just recording it through like this little tiny crappy, well actually it's a pretty okay microphone, but this little Samsung Go mic here, and it's just running, you know, through the amp down there, so you're just getting more of a room sound, and it's not going to be the best sound. But later on I'll probably do a review of this thing where I actually recorded properly with an SM57, mic'd up to a decent cab, all that good stuff. But right now I just want to kind of give you a general idea of what this is kind of like to play, and just so I get a general idea of what this guitar feels like to play. But so far my first impressions is the neck profile actually feels really nice. It's not as chunky as say like a classic sort of thick Les Paul style neck or anything like that, but at the same time it doesn't feel quite as flat as like a super modern neck profile. It feels like somewhere in the middle. It feels like a very natural kind of feel, but leaning towards the more skinny side. So this is meant to be a slim taper 60s style neck profile, but I do like it, which is another thing that I was kind of iffy about, because of this whole quarantine thing that's going on. I wasn't able to go out to a store and find one of these things and try it and play it and all that sort of stuff, and you know, the quarantine madness was kind of setting in, so I'm just like, I need a new guitar. And so I just bought this thing online, so you couldn't actually have it in hand, which, you know, I don't recommend you guys do that often, but, you know, do as Jacob says, not as he does, as it would be. What I'm going to try and do now is, I also have this Laney Black Country Customs Tony Iommi signature treble booster pedal. I have not tried this out yet, so this is going to be the first time I'm using this as well. And I want to see what this guitar sounds like boosted into that Laney amp. It'd help us get that more sort of Black Sabbath-y tone. I'm also going to be tuning this down to C sharp standard a little bit later in this quick little demo, just because I want to see what that kind of, how it holds up with that tuning, because that's what Tony Iommi did as well. So I think the modifications of the 0 fret and the adjusted bridge will help with that in the future, but I just want to see how stock this thing holds up to playing it like that, because I'm sure a lot of Black Sabbath fans would be kind of keen for a guitar like this, especially in this price range. Not that this was the cheapest of guitars, especially since I bought it new, but compared to a Gibson of the same style, for whatever reason, these Gibson specials, or when they are actually Gibson brand, they go for a lot. I don't know why. In particular, since the specials were meant to be the budget option back in the day, but now these days they seem to be the more expensive ones, which is really, really odd. But yeah, maybe it just goes to show because they're a really nice guitar. Anyway, let's try out this booster. Got a nice sustain to it. This amp here, its drive channel is a bit off. I think that the tubes might need replacing or something like that. But it is just my kind of practice amp, so later on, like I said, I'll do a video where I get a slightly better sound. P-90s are great, aren't they? You get that really sort of thick, almost humbucker-like sound, but you still get so much ring to it, and they just sound so fierce. I love them. Yeah, these, like I said, not the best amp to be really testing out this on. Not that this is a bad amp, it's just, for whatever reason, this one doesn't sound quite as good as it probably should. Especially with the microphone, like I said, that you guys are hearing it through. But from what I'm hearing, these are really decent sounding pickups. I'm really enjoying playing this thing. They sound good. They sound good. I like that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try and tune this thing down to C# standard. I hope this guitar can take it, because some guitars fare better with that tuning than others. I've tuned her down to C standard now. I've just had a little playthrough and oh, it sounds so good! I love it, I love it. I'm really hoping that the sound of the amp isn't clipping, by the way, through this microphone. That might be something that happens. I'm trying to play pretty quietly though, all things considered, but let's have a look how it sounds. So first I'll just play a little riff or two and then we'll engage the treble booster, and I just find that adds more sustain and more of that, you know, that Black Sabbath magic tone that we all love. Even without it, it sounds rad. Listen to this. Sounding pretty nice. Clean. Here's a clean neck pickup. let's kick that drive on, and then we'll, you know, do the treble booster pedal and see what this thing sounds like on full Sabbath, you know what I mean? I lost it there, but you get the point. You get the point. Does get a little bit muddy. Again, that's more the amplifier's fault than the guitar, but I just turn that off. So I think that gives you guys a fair idea of what this guitar plays like, at least as like just a really quick haphazard demo. Like I said, I'll do a proper one in the near future, and I'll definitely be using this guitar when demoing some other things in the near future, so you'll see it kicking around. So yeah, all in all, I'm pleasantly surprised with this thing. It does play really nicely. The neck feels really good, and luckily this one came perfectly set up. I have no issues. It plays really well. Strings are also nice and snappy and fresh, so I love that. So good work to you guys over at Music Corner, or whatever the store's called. You did a great job with this thing. And you people over at Epiphone, you did really great too. This turned out to be a really nice guitar. Again, pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Looks nice too. I'm probably going to take off all this plastic and stuff just because I like it off. It'll be a bit cathartic to finally see this thing, pull this stuff off, so I'll just do that. Also, another great thing about this guitar, it's bound. Very good. It has the dot inlays too, which are faithful to the original Gibson Special guitars. So if you see pictures of Tony Iommi playing his original Monkey guitar, again, they had dot inlays and it was bound. This one doesn't have the little fret nibs or whatever they're called. So you can hopefully see it there. So it is bound, but it doesn't have fret nibs. It's like totally a non-issue though, but I think the original Gibson ones did have the little fret nibs. If you don't know what that is, it's literally where the binding just creeps up over the side of the frets. I got a couple of like artist guitars, Les Paul type guitars that do have those. They're nice, but they don't really do all that much, so it's just a cosmetic thing. The volume pots and the switch and all that sort of stuff all works flawlessly. Even if it didn't, I honestly could easily fix that stuff. But yeah, I'm just happy with this guitar. Jeez, this guitar is so shiny, I can't film it for you guys without it totally like reflecting all my surroundings, which is a little bit annoying. But that also goes to show it is nicely polished, so that is a good thing. All in all, I really recommend this guitar. It plays really well. So I can see myself definitely playing this thing quite a lot, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, I have heard issues with the quality control of the fretwork. I was really fortunate that this one had really good fretwork, but I would recommend, if you can, go pick one of these up at a store where you can physically play it first, or one of those, online places that like has like a guarantee that if you're not satisfied you can send it back, or something like that. That would be really good for one of these. But from my personal experience, I'm loving this thing, and I'm sure you guys will too. So I give this guitar a strong recommend. Great guitar, Really happy with this thing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep on rocking, people. Peace out. Bye.